If there were three questions that we were posed as presidents of the union. One was, what is the biggest struggle as president? And I think one of the biggest struggles is trying to get the union members to realize the importance of the union. When I was on the school board years ago, tax increases in the community were 6%, 7%, 8%. So there was money to give to teachers with raises, 3%, 4%, 5%. However, what happened is 9/11 happened, the economy went south, and money dried up. The legislature pulled back. They did not fund schools the way they used to, and then they instituted a 2% tax cap as well. So now there was no money for districts to use towards education. On top of that, enrollments were starting to go down, and so union members, their only concern was, am I going to be the one that's cut? Will I be able to keep my job? Because there were tremendous cuts throughout education. Unfortunately, the unions were a little slow to react, and the economy never came back around. So when union members were not getting the types of dollar amounts that they were used to getting, what happened was they saw the union as the enemy. Over the last couple of years, when I've met with new members, they will often ask, after I explain the benefits of being in the union, do I have to join the union? They're not aware of the fights and the struggles that unions had back in the 60s and 70s when they were forming. When we're first elected, we have the opportunity to go to Albany and we meet with other brand new presidents from around the state. And one of the books that we're provided is Teachers United, and it provides a background of where NYSET was and where unions were back in the 60s and 70s when they were forming. And if you take a look at any of the articles in here, they're having many of the same struggles that we're experiencing today. They have lack of respect, no money, and the list goes on and on. It's almost like picking up the pages today and reading it today. Unfortunately, unionism is not what it used to be. And I think meism and individualism has taken over. People are not behind the union. They're looking at blaming the union for anything rather than getting behind and rolling up their sleeves and becoming part of the union. One of the other questions we were posed is, what is our biggest accomplishment as union president? I think one of my biggest accomplishments is working with the officers and working with committee members to make the operation of the union to become as transparent as possible. I would also like my tenure to be noted as one where I educated our members and I increased lines of communication so that I was providing information for our members so that they were better educated. The third question that we were asked to provide an answer to was, what would we like our members to know if we could get a message out to them? I think two messages I would like to get out to our members. I think what's going to happen is things are going to get worse before they get better. So people will need to become active in the union. The second message would be to get involved in the union. You need to be there, you need to understand what the union is fighting for, you need to understand the contract, you need to understand what's in the contract, what's not in the contract, and you need to be there to fight for yourself, just like those union members back in the 60s and the 70s. I've had a lot of jobs in my life. I served as the marketing director for Burger King restaurants and did marketing for about 75 Burger King restaurants. I also worked for the International Model Search Invitational, where I would organize events for thousands of people in Chicago, Atlanta, Dallas, Minneapolis. And out of all those jobs, in my 30 years of teaching also, I think the hardest job has been that of the LEA President. Every day, when I show up at 5:15, it's on-the-job training. There's nothing that's going to be in a book where I can go and look and see what can I do on this particular topic. Everything is new, everything is different, day to day. What I'm experiencing as a union president today is not what the past union presidents experienced. Times have changed. So there's a lot of information that you have to be aware of. There's also a lot more demands on the union president. You have to have the connections with NYSIT. You have to have the connections with the other union presidents from other organizations, other school districts within the area. You have to have open lines of communication with the other union presidents within our local, the LSEA, the LASA, and now the newly formed Lockport Substitute Teachers Union. It's important that you all work together because many of the issues cross over into the different categories. The last thing, the most rewarding part of my job as the LEA president, is the thank yous. When you can help an LEA member and provide advice to help them get through a struggle. When you help them navigate the sick bank during a time of crisis, or you can provide information, there's nothing more rewarding than to see the look of comfort on that member's face, or to get a card or an email just saying thank you. And then you know that all the hours that you put in is well worth it.